Hello and welcome to the Build with Ware workshop. My name is Baer. I'm going to build some stuff. I want to say hello to everyone in chat. We're waiting for a few more folks to join us before we really get going, but I did want to take a moment to come in and say hello before we start building. If you are here in the chat live, you're watching live on Twitch, you can throw the Bear Cave emote in there if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, consider it. If you need to renew because you use your Twitch coin, because you have Twitch Prime, now's a great time to do that. About the middle of the month is where some people's subs need to get auto renew or need to get renewed because they don't auto renew. If you use Cash Money, it'll just do it. But Lashbrook says hold on. I believe Lashbrook has to use the coin. Yep, there's Lashbrook. Lashbrook came in as a subscriber. Thank you, Lashbrook, for that. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for renewing. Appreciate that. Yeah, there's always some stuff that's got to get done, and I understand. The middle of the month is when people's subscriptions kind of wane or need to renew. Not wane. Wane was the wrong term. I don't know. I don't know what I was saying there. But while I'm waiting for more people to join us, I gotta do a thing. Let's do this. Let's see. And let's do that. Rolls happened. I mean, rolls are already happening. Rolls were already there. But VIPs happened. So I made a few people VIP. So when it should show up in chat when that happens. Just some folks that have been here since day one. Went out of their way to support me here on Twitch, and I want to say thank you to them. So there are a few people who are now VIPs. And which is pretty cool, I think. Yeah, like I said, we got some building today. We're working again on our Zaku 2 here. Working on our arm. We got some progress done on Saturday. We got a lot of the chest and head done, including all these crinkle things. Which you can kind of see way better here than in the overhead shots. And then hello, Mr. Bob. And you can also see the crinkle thing here in the joint here. We got one more crinkle, and then two more, actually, because we got to do the leg ones as well. Robot Cranks here in the chat. Hello. Mr. Bob, you can see there, as Mr. Bob has the VIP, the diamond, because you're a diamond member, I guess. Mr. Bob has been a long-time supporter here of the channel. Purchased kits for you to build off my wish list, which is great, and obviously not required. But also, it's just in the chat a lot and cool. Long-time subscriber. And so, yeah, it's like a space soup thing. The space soup, not soup. I'm not as great with words today as I usually am. I'd say that. I'm still good with words, but I've been better. I talked a lot today. So sometimes words matter. Yeah, it's a weird, cool little plastic thing that in other Zakus that I've built, you use like little tiny plastic beads to kind of do it. And in this one, it's like hose. It's supposed to be like a hose. I don't hate it, but I don't love it, and it's annoying. It was annoying to put on. Oh, hello, Jam. Jam just subscribed with Twitch Prime 12 months in a row. Thank you very much. Congratulations on the year, and as always, thank you for doing that, renewing your subscription. The Thunderbolt world is a slight reimagining of the UC mechanics. Yes, I have not watched any of it. At some point I will. All right, we got 8 people here in the chat. That's a good time to get into the overhead shot here. We are working. We got our body. We can put our body over here so you can see what's going on there. Oop. No matter what I do, this camera does not save that I do not want it to autofocus, including It'll remind itself for the entire stream, but then when I close OBS, it will forget. And I've also uninstalled it and equipped it as a new video thing, and it just does that. I don't know why, and that's annoying. I apologize, folks, but it's all going to be okay. Um, yeah, I haven't watched any of Thunderbolt. It is available for me to watch, and I'm going to try to watch it before the show's over. It does feel odd to watch to build things from shows like obviously it's Zaku 2. It's a specific Zaku 2, but it's still Zaku 2. But it is weird to build things from shows that I don't really have a lot of familiarity with. All right, so we're gonna put some more orange on this thing. Got a lot of red, a lot of gray, a lot of orange. Says tightly fit the parts as far as they will go. Hold both sides together when assembling. So it's telling me this is going to be a tight fit, and it is. All right, so we put that on there, and then we can put these on here, and I don't know where. There's a little notch on this piece. I don't know if you can see it. And it's not doing a great job of telling me where the notch should be. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out, because the thing will clip onto these notches. So I'm going to pull out the next piece I need for this. So I can see what's going on. R1, 5, and 4. So this is actually an off blue here. There's some gray in this kit certainly, but this is an off blue. Yo, how's the snow treating you? Hello, Brown Lantern. So it's been coming down. I'll say this. This is my day off. And I could have done something, but I chose not to, and I did not leave the house. And it was the right call. I am going to have to run out because I didn't go grocery shopping, and then I'm like, I actually need stuff for like my first meal today tomorrow. So after the stream, I'm going to go to a bodega tonight. And kind of see what the snow looks like and hang out. But it's warm in my apartment. It was I've watched the snow out of my kitchen window today, and that was nice. But I have not been negative. I didn't have to go to work, and I didn't have to deal with anything. So I feel like I won the day. All right, so. All right, I figured out where these little things, the notch goes. It's because it's actually into this plastic here. That was not complicated at all. I made that more complicated than it needed to be. It took me 3 hours to take a normally 50 minutes commute. Garden State Parkway, yeah. I gotta drive that tomorrow. Hope it's better. Yeah. One of the benefits of my current living situation is I do use the subway, and there'll be delays, I'm sure, but my train will still run tomorrow if I do end up taking it in. I'm also considering not going to the thing I was planning on going to tomorrow for various reasons, including the fact that the weather isn't great. And maybe I don't want to leave my apartment tomorrow. I'm not going to get too much into it. If you follow me on Twitter, you can see that I was talking a bit about money, and without getting too far into it, because I don't want to, I was supposed to get paid today. Like, a good amount of money. Money I need for things like food. Hello, Smashmouth Johnny's here. I need money for food, and like paying off my credit cards, and paying my utilities, and like stuff. Middle of the month, those things. And didn't get paid today. And on Monday, the other half of the money I owe, because the situation I have for PAX Unplugged is I'm staying in an Airbnb, and it was pay half now, pay half right before, which is awesome and great when you don't have a lot of disposable income. But what ended up happening was that's on Monday. So I need to have the money I need for that set aside and not spend it, even though I have a good amount of money coming in. I just don't know when that's coming. And that sucks. It sucks a whole lot. But I will say this. Thank you to my subscribers. You're all awesome. And I got another payment from Twitch yesterday, and that's very helpful. That made a bad situation less bad. By far, my situation is far less bad than it would be if I didn't have the support of y'all. So thank you very much for that. Um, I'm always thrilled by your support, and it came in very heavily. Things are going to work out okay, Brown. It just means that right now, like, I just have to penny pinch, right? Um, and then I will get paid, and it will be fine. But right now, I'm just waiting on that money, and I have to like be cool about it. But it will work out. I'm confident it will. Um, oh, Brown, you also said that you're supposed to have an exam tomorrow morning. I really hope it gets canceled, but it's college. That's never going to happen. Yeah, obviously, uh, you know, the only time they really cancel if it's that bad is if teachers have trouble getting in. And even then, they don't want to do it. It's college. They don't want to. I went to school at the university at Albany. I was only there for a year. And one day it was closed because the bridge was already under construction. Commuter bridge was already under construction, and then the snow made it so it had one lane available. So they were like, okay, no school today. But that was just once. Otherwise, it was like, you live here. Or if you don't live here, well, fucking make it work. So, all right. So we finished this here. We're gonna work on the working on our arm here. We gotta figure the shoulder piece now. We get to build our shield in a little bit, the classic shield. So that's fun. So let's get G13 out. I'm packing up my stuff and moving to another computer since this needs to be packed. All right, Mr. Bob. Pack it up. Sometimes you gotta pack stuff. I understand. Okay, G13, great. Yeah, I'm very happy that I didn't have to leave the apartment today. I do love the snow, though, so I am going to go out in the snow a bit. And one of the things about New York that's both good and bad is snow doesn't really stick around. It has to be a lot of snow for it to stick around. A light snow will be gone. Partially that's due to the climate, but also a lot of it's due to the subway system. There's a lot of heat rising from underground, and it makes it so the concrete is actually hotter. Um, and which is why I always forget what the temperature actually feels like when I go to Seattle, because it's by the water, and like that 60 degrees is different from New York 60 degrees. It's a lot colder to me. Because I have also had friends who've moved to New York from the West Coast, from cold areas of the West Coast, like Northwest, and that were like, oh, I overdressed for this. And it's like, yeah, you might have. Oh, Johnny, I did want to say Smash Mouth. As you can see, Smash Mouth also rocking the VIP badge. Johnny is also one of our VIPs, a longtime supporter. Smash Mouth, longtime supporter of the channel, so I wanted to throw in the reward there. Active contributor, subscriber, chatter since the early days. I very much appreciate. Thank you for that. Yeah, the VIP thing is fun. The only people you can't make VIPs are mods because they're mods and they already have that. So I guess that if you VIP someone who's a mod, it unmods them, which is bad. Of course, we don't have any mods because one, y'all are rad, and two, I'm not big enough to warrant invasions of jerks. Someday I'll need mods. But it's been a long time since we had that. Johnny says, always glad to put my Twitch Prime token to this channel when I have one available. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, for folks that were using their Twitch Prime. I think most of you who need to renew. By the way, this is badass looking Zaku too. It's awesome looking, right? This is a kit that I wish that I was, one, good, and two, interested in doing um, the water stickers, because there's a lot of them. Uh, there's there's a lot of them, and they look great. And I wish that I was interested in doing it. Like the 96 is they're all really great looking, but I'm not into that, so I won't be doing it. I'm also terrible at it, so I'm like, well, no. The fact that I do sticker work at all, anytime, is always just like, all right, I gotta do it. But certainly not those kinds of stickers. Disco Punk says, first time catching a stream live. Hell yeah, Zaku. Disco Punk, first of all, great fucking name. Thank you for joining. Thank you for having such a cool Twitch name. And yes, this is Zaku indeed. Hell yeah. And then Johnny says, I've been listening back to some old podcasts last week as a reminder of things I've forgotten the past few years. Did you know that dogs pretty much universally hate the Law and Order theme? They start barking and howling when they hear it. Brown says my hands are too shaky for stickers. So I got big paws, as you can see. I got big old paws. Like I got meat hooks. And also not great. And also I'm on stream. I'm not doing anytime I have to do anything even remotely meticulous on these streams, I'm always just like, oh no, oh no, what am I getting myself into? I never want to do that. It's bad. Like, you may remember back in the day when we did the Bandai model kits for TIE fighters, or the X-wings, the X-wings TIE fighters. Pose. I just gave up on some of those because it was just like really intricate, tiny work that I was like, oh, I'll never be good at this part, so I just didn't do it. Just did another version of it. All right, so this goes on here, and then this goes on here. Lock it in place. Great. My hands are both huge and shaky. I get my girlfriend to help me with stickers. I would love to have some models for old school Star Wars ships. Yeah. So the Bandai kits that we did that we did a regular one. We did Pose because it's black and fucking Pose X-Wing Starfighter is beautiful looking. The thing with the Bandai ones is they're high grade up until they're not. They're mostly high grade. They're a little real grade. But all of a sudden they get complicated because they're non-graded, and it's just like, meh, no thanks. Brown Lantern says, I need to get back into building Gundams. I just watched 0080, and might be my favorite anime thing ever, and I want to build Gunpla again. Well, Brown, so you say you're going to get back into it, so you don't need you don't need tips from me, but other than to say, hell yeah, man, get back into it. Do it up. If you can find the time, if you find the energy, like maybe you don't have time for a master grade or you don't have room for a master grade. Get a high grade. Get a 144 high grade. Get a SD. Put it on your desk. Make it a desk buddy. Like if you don't have the room, you'll find it. If you don't have the time, like look for smaller kits that you can get done. In a short amount of time. Also, some people forget about this. Gunpla is great. We build Lego here. And when we build Lego, we put it back in. But here's the thing you can do with Lego. And they don't tell you this. No other stream is going to tell you this pro tip from me, Baer. You can disassemble Lego and put all the pieces back in the box and just put the box away. And then you can build it again later. But it's a lot easier to store if you just take it apart. I don't do that because I always leave things assembled, but yeah, you can just take it apart again. If you're like, oh, I don't have room for this, but I have just enough room for this box. Well, great. Keep the box. R1. Cool, cool. I think that's done with the R's now, so we'll put the R back over here. As I said, disassemble Lego. Yeah. Hello, the Hollow, and welcome. Uh, 008 is also my favorite Gundam. Real good. Hello, Mudan. Hello, the Hollow. Y'all are right. It's great. I mean, it's not my favorite Gundam, but when I went back to it, I did really enjoy it. As always, I am a 90s kid, and as a 90s kid who was born in 1980, as an old millennial, a young Gen Xer, a Generation Y kid, let me tell you this. Gundam Wing's pretty good. I mean, Gundam Wing's why I think Look, I watched Dragon Ball as a kid. I watched Sailor Moon as a kid. I watched Samurai Pizza Cats. I watched anime that got dubbed and was on television, okay? I liked those things. I was into those things. They were fun. I watched Akira as a young kid. I watched like a fourth generation copy, VHS copy of it. It looked awful. It looked amazing and incredible. The quality of the VHS tape was bad. I liked anime. When I saw Gundam Wing for the first time, I was like, oh, fuck. I like this a lot. Like, this is like Transformers, but like piloted, and there's a story and drama and cool teens. I'm in. Johnny, Wing was on Toonami. Gundam Wing is very of its time. It's the mid 90s. Duo's a tryhard, an edgelord probably. Hero is pretty emotionless. Troa has seemingly no emotions. It took everything about the Gundam universes, all the Gundam series, and then also added pretty boys. Like a lot of pretty boys. And personality. All the Gundams had personality. All the characters had personality. They were like, Char's pretty cool. Let's have a Char in our show. We'll put a Char in our show. We'll have some strong ladies one who's really nice, one who's a fucking Dorothy, who's just straight up like fucking rough and tumble. I hated Dorothy. Let's have a silent lady who loves a dude and can't say anything about it. Oh, let's throw all that shit in there. Let's take all the stuff we liked. Also, the Death Scythe. It's a beam scythe. The thing's called a Death Scythe. It's all black, and he wears he's the runner of the Death Scythe. He's like the Grim Reaper, but he wears a priest collar, and he's a 15-year-old dude with a ponytail. That's a braided ponytail. Oh man, Duo Maxwell's fucking best. I have talked too much of it over the course of all the time I have been a streamer, but I love Gundam Wing so much. It's my goddamn favorite thing. It's by far, it's probably my favorite anime, honestly. Get any percent of my Gundam Wing knowledge is from Gundam Wing fighting game for the SNES. Okay, well there you go. I don't think that game had... Endless Duel. Hello, Arabina. Welcome. Liminal Days. Heavy Arms got me to love anime missile barrage as a kid. Oh, man. That Gundam is all guns. I mean, it should be called Heavy Guns. Or Many Arms. Because it's just got so much. Most of the time, because we built two of those, obviously, most of building the heavy arms is just putting together missile launchers and then giant guns. And then it was like, let's add more giant guns to this. It didn't have enough giant guns. We got to add more giant guns. Gundam Gun, yeah. All of the Gundam things. I don't think Gundam Wing games have the Epion in it, which is a shame. Because the Epion, which, if you're a subscriber, my last stream, which will be the last Wednesday of this month, the last Wednesday this month, I'll have my giveaway is the Master Grade Epion, which is a beautiful kit, the Twin Dragon. It transforms. Epion is the fucking best. It's a twin-headed dragon. That's not really a twin-headed dragon, but it's got that like its beam weapon is hooked up to its engine so that it can be a bigger beam weapon. Oh, it's so dumb. Oh, it does. It's an endless duel. Oh, good. Okay. I didn't forget. Yes. Also, that the heavy arms just has a big knife, and it's not a beam. The heavy arms is like, we don't need beams. I just got a fucking. I got an arm knife. It'll flop out. All right. Where were we? I'm talking about how much I. All right. We got the G here because we need G8. We're gonna build a hand here. We're building hands. So we need G8. Heavy Arms is a good band name. It is. And then you can name an album Heavy Arms Custom. I do like that they call them custom. I don't know if I've said that before, but I enjoy that it's like, it's the Heavy Arms Custom. I think that's a cool name for the Endless Waltz kits. Let's see here. Thanks for everybody who's joining me tonight. There's a few new people or some folks I haven't seen in a bit as well, or maybe even just people that don't chat that often. If you don't chat that much here, well, welcome. Ain't nothing wrong with being a lurker. I lurk mostly in, most message boards that I follow. I contribute now and again. Most of the time I just say something to myself and then keep quiet about it because I don't want to deal with shit and threads and all that. All right, so I need Q. That's Q2. I think this is Q1. This is Q1. This is Q1. But yeah, you're more than welcome to be here. Thanks for hanging out. This is part of our backpack unit here, but also some of the hand stuff here. 6 is this hand here. I think there are multiple different kinds of the hand pieces that we're building. There's like alternates to the fingers and fists that we're making here, I believe. But we'll use this color because it goes with the backpack. If it's the same color as the backpack, then that adds some continuity to it, which I like. Putting custom after any robot makes it sound better. Yep. You're right. I never played Small Arms Brown. I don't know that game. The name sounds a bit familiar. Oh, I still love Gundam Battle Assault 2 for the PS1. It has a huge roster. Lashbrook, you're not wrong on that. I've definitely played that, and it is really good. I still have that Wing Zero it's like a 1995 kit. It's the 160 Wing Zero non-graded kit. It's basically a huge high grade. We still have that kit to be built at some point. I'm really looking forward to doing it because I think it's going to be just such a big, weird kit. We might do that next. I don't know. The next thing I should do is the Iron-Blooded Orphans kit that someone anonymously purchased for me. I don't know who did, but yeah, at some point we'll do that. We got to get to that kit as well. All right, so this has basically this has interchangeable fingers. There's this set of fingers here, which is a closed fist with the thumb, but you can swap it out, and I think we're gonna go with this hand here. So let's see, it's gonna be this one. We'll do the one that you can put a weapon in because I like, at the very least, like to take photos of the weapons. So we'll do that. And we're definitely going to go with this hand over the other versions of the hands because, like I said, it does have the same color as the backpack. So I like that. All right. So yeah, That's the hand for weapons. You can see that in the overhead. It's dark, but you can probably see that in the overhead. Those IBO kits feel oddly organic to me. They just pose so well. Well, I mean, it's Disco. The nice thing about it, and this one is the Grimgard, is before they called it the full mechanics line. It's just a non-grade. Um, but I love the idea of the full mechanics of building the skeleton fully and then adding armor, and even to the point where you put pieces on to build it, and then you have to take those pieces off to put a couple pieces in each kit to put the armor on. The idea that you could take all the armor off and have the skeleton is really great. It looks incredible in time lapse. I've seen some really good ones. I don't have a link to them or anything, but I've seen some really beautiful time lapse stuff from that, of just like wild stuff that people are doing with the full mechanics. Ever since we did one, I've wanted to do another one. So sooner or later, I will get back to doing it. I will get to do that Grimgard. Also, it looks cool. This is going to be a project. This one's going to take a little while. And then, of course, next week, I will not be doing a Thursday. Next Thursday is American Thanksgiving, so I will not be streaming, but I will do next Friday. So I'll do this Saturday and next Friday and Saturday. I will be building, and the following week I'll be streaming Wednesday night, because that Thursday I leave for PAX Unplugged. So I can't stream that Thursday because I'm going on the road, taking the train down. 16, great. Let's get those out. So I won't be able to stream that. So my schedule's bad. If you look at my Twitter account, the pinned tweet is a photo of my schedule, and I will hopefully be able to keep to that, and do my damnedest to keep to that schedule. And then December 1st, which is a Saturday, which should be the first stream of the month, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to try to stream and do this Lego kit. I've got a Ray kit that's pretty small that I'm bringing that I'd like to build, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. But that's the plan anyway, is to... all right. Is to do that. I don't know how these fit in, so I have to look at this. One goes... Oh, it goes like this. I kind of want to build the EVA 2. I'm pretty sure it's a high-grade style. Yeah, I've never built a Evangelion kit, so I do not have an answer for you on that. But do the research, And then the Hollow says, I know you're a Fallout 4 fan, Pat, but have you seen any Fallout 76 gameplay? I have. I've watched a few live streams. I'm not much of a multiplayer kind of guy, like an online-only person. I know you can play it a lot with single player, but also there is a lot of lore, clearly, but without a companion, without NPCs, without the small stories, the fact that there are no human life, that you're just running into robots and holotapes, even though I do like the lore, I don't know. I don't think it's for me. If there's a flash sale on it, I might pick it up. If there's a free weekend, I might pick it up. I might try it out. But I said this on Twitter. Fallout 3 is... I love Fallout 3. I love New Vegas. I liked 4. But I didn't play Fallout 1 or 2. And I know that when Fallout 3 came out, people that wanted Van Buren, they wanted that Fallout 3, were very unhappy because it wasn't their Fallout game. So I get that. To me, it's incredible, especially New Vegas. I love Fallout New Vegas. I think all the companions, almost all the companions are interesting. I think it's really compelling, and the systems are fucked, but I think that the mods really help with a lot of it. Uh, it's overall, I just think, a very cool uh, game. And then I liked 4. Like I said, I liked 4. I didn't love 4. There are parts of it I liked a lot, but I think the plot was kind of annoying and dumb. Um, and also, loving Vegas means that you make good on a chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel. And then in 4, that chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel is not cool or as cool. And then also, spoilers to Fallout 4, you really need to blow that fucking Zeppelin out of the sky. And when you do, there are young boys, the trainees, that are going to die. And there's no way to make sure they don't die. So you gotta fucking blow up a ship that kids are on. That sucks. Shouldn't have been there in the first place. Basically, you got a Hindenburg situation going on. But it still sucks. But yeah, they weren't Fallout 1 and 2. There are lots of people that will never like any of the Fallouts. Because they are later Fallouts. And I get that. Honestly, I think the way Fallout 4 plays would make for a good multiplayer game, but 76 is kind of like a mess. I mean, parts of it it's a mess of a mess. As diehard 1-2 fan, I really gave 3 a shot, but for system-style role-playing games, just do not do it for me across the board. Yeah, and you're right. We can both be right. I think Fallout 3 is incredible story and great storytelling and really fun and weird and broken and great, and you can be like, doesn't do it for me. And I wouldn't be like, no, you're wrong. And the same way that people are like, I did not enjoy any of the building in Fallout 4, and I can be like, I found it really fun and cool, and interesting. But I get why people would be like, no. So I don't know. And yeah, and there are going to be people who are like, I love Guild Wars. I love, like plenty of games that are like that. They're going to find something to enjoy about it. I preferred New Vegas, but Bethesda just emphasized the sandbox aspect of the world more rather than the story aspect. If that's a fair evaluation, I would agree. Yeah, I think New Vegas tells small stories. I think Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 do not have a faction. There's no faction in Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 that gets close to the boomers in New Vegas as a faction that I wish I could join. Fallout 4 gets close because I think the cats are awesome. I love the idea of greasers that are into power armor. I think that's just a cool thing. I wish they had more in the game. I loved a little bit of lore that that they're like cool with Sturgis, and they used to work with Sturgis. I think that's like such a cool little element. I think that's just like a really fun faction, but it's not really a faction. And I think that is like the closest Fallout 4 gets to Fallout New Vegas. Or like Fallout New Vegas is a bunch of like people that are just like, hell yeah, I'm gonna hang out here. These are cool people. The building is the coolest part of Fallout 4. Makes the home, gives such a different context to the world. Yeah, I agree, Johnny. I've had playthroughs where I did, I built up a lot of different things. I've done playthroughs where I only focused on Sanctuary and really tried to make it a Sanctuary. And I had places where I was like, I'm not really gonna fix this one up. I don't care about this one. I'll protect it. I'll put some turrets around, but whatever. Y'all want to live here? That's fine. And I had other ones where I was like, let's hang out. Let's make this work. Let's see what's up. All right, we're putting our shield together here. The iconic shield, gotta have that. And then this is gonna go like this. Oh, that's cool. All right, so here's our shield. Oops. Got a piece popping off. Got to pop that back on. I bet this elbow thing comes off a lot, I'm going to guess. Because it doesn't really seem to be sitting on there tight. I think most of the time building stuff up, I liked building in the challenging area where it was like crossroads of fucked up shit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's fun to build a thing where you know you're going to get attacked. Like, okay, Um, it's fun to like, and it's also like I had playthroughs where I was like, I'm all about the railroad, so Bunker Hill is gonna be like my main place, or this is the playthrough where I'm all about the Minutemen, so I want Sanctuary to be a place for people to feel free to go, but we got to get the castle running awesome. Um, I also think the drive-in is just a fun location because it's you're still at a drive-in, and that's just kind of cool. All right, so we got our shield here, and it's got some mobility. You can see that there in this here. That's pretty cool. Moves around a bit. Uh, just remembered I had a mini First Order Heavy Walker Lego kit to build. Hell yeah, Disco. Put in 120 hours before, and I never played through the main quest or finished any of the faction storylines. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It wasn't compelling to me. Like, I know I eventually need to kill the Institute stuff and, like, fix that stuff, but I was like, it didn't really appeal to me. I didn't want to do a lot of it. Like, the railroad was cool, but I don't know why the railroad was, like, an interesting idea, but they were so small time. They were like, yeah, we just want to free this stuff. We're not thinking about like the Commonwealth or like fixing any problems. The Minutemen were great. Uh, and then like, hey, the Pridwin is cool. I don't that version of the Brotherhood I was not into, but all right, so we are working on our left arm. We finished our right arm, so now we can get building our left arm, which is just basically the same, except it's going to have a spiky shoulder pad, like a football player's shoulder pad with spikes on it. So we got to build that next. Let me just go back real quick, just make sure. Did I put that on? Yes, it did. Okay, great. Just making sure I put on a piece that I thought I had put on, but wanted to make sure. That's good. We're good. Moving right along back to where we are. Yeah, so we're basically just going to do the same thing. There's some, and then it changes after a while. I think the intro was cool, futuristic. I was building craft and weighing in on world politics in some way. Like, what if it was only a little better than before the end of the world? Yeah. Well, I think that over time, they invested a lot of their resources into making a cool place. Uh, I think that it was probably a little too clean and too perfect. Uh, but whatever. Also, I already talked about it on the channel, but it's they really messed up. Bethesda really messed up in one part of Fallout 4. I mean, other parts depending on how generous you are about what they did. But the part they really messed up was with Curie. So Curie is this incredible AI intelligence in a robot, and then once you finish the quest lines, it's a companion of yours. Um, they realize that the handy bot that they're in is limiting them, and they want to be in some kind of better body. So you don't know what that means, or you do know what that means, and eventually what you can do is you can go see a doctor who will put the AI consciousness into a synthetic being that was created by the Institute but is brain dead. So there's a brain dead body there, and you put it in there. And then, obviously, there's a lot that is not discussed about that, how that's fucked up. It's really fucked up to do that. And that conversation should be had, and I don't think really was had at the time. But here's the other part of it. The Generation 3 synthetics that are completely indistinguishable from humans. You only know if you find a component after they're dead. You don't see the component when they're alive. You don't know who they are. There's like a slight way to tell sometimes, but not really. For instance purposes, people in the game don't know who are synths. One of the reasons why they got made is with the essence, basically, the DNA of Father in the Institute. Spoilers, that's your son. So your son's DNA is in every synth, Gen 3 synth. And you can have a romantic relationship with Curie, who is in the body of someone with your genetic material, 50% of your genetic material, your child. And no one stopped to go, huh, that's fucking weird. What are we doing? Why are we doing that? What? Hey, what the fuck, Bethesda? That's either your daughter or your... it's either your daughter or your granddaughter. Hey, that's fucked up. What the fuck, Bethesda? Real messed up and weird. They really should have thought of that. But really what they wanted to do was they wanted to have more female companions you could have sex with. That's all, honestly. That's it. They just wanted to have... Or they were like, let's not have it so that you can have sex with Nick Valentine. Let's make it so this robot can go into a hot lady body and you can have sex with that. Ugh. Bethesda. Fuck. It's real weird. It's a real weird part of that game. Brownledge says, the first time I met Father, I shot him in the face instinctively because I was so mad, then reloaded my save. Yeah, I get that. I mean, sometimes you gotta do it. You gotta take care of business. I mean, Father was raised by them to be the best of them. Decisions were made that he had nothing to do with, but in the end of the day, it's all fucked up. It's real messed up. Not cool. And none of the Institute is great. I mean, they murder people and replace them with synths. That's not cool. It's fucked up. I don't care if there's going to be more drinking water. They're not sharing that water. They tried in the past. They said they tried in the past to influence, like, basically, like, they tried in the past to influence the world, and it didn't work out because people were arguing with each other. It's like, oh, well, yeah, that's what happens. There was like a coalition government that started up, and they had their spies there working on things. But then they just killed all of them. They sent like a synth to kill them all. Honestly, I kind of wish Fallout leaned into the fucked up hedonist shit more, as the world seemed too light and fluffy for fucked up elements to make sense. Well, I agree with you, Johnny. I do think that a lot of it has to do with, it is in some ways generations, right? It's hundreds of years, so it's generations and generations, and like you end up with extremes. You end up with raiders, and you end up with smart raiders and interesting raiders and unique raiders, and like gunners, and then you like mercenaries and stuff, and then you end up with like people who are not that, who are like just trying to get by and living in cities and living in towns and just trying to make ends meet, doing their thing. Uh, I built enough water purifiers to build a water park. Yep. Um, but yeah, I think that like there is like the Republic of Dave in Fallout 3 to me is very indicative of like how a lot of people would have been. Here's the guy, he's got a little bit of power and he can grant safety so people are interested in what he has to say because he can protect them. And what does he do? Well, at a certain point he decides, "Hey, it's okay for me to have multiple wives." Like cuz like his wife is getting a little older and a woman comes by that's attractive and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, she can stay and she's my wife too." And it's like, "Okay." If you haven't seen the Republic of Dave, I would watch the Oxhorn, who does videos almost exclusively on Fallout. Just watch that. Watch Oxhorn's Republic of Dave stream or video. I think that's like a classic, like microcosm of what a lot of stuff is happening in the Wasteland in the Fallout games. I don't know. Uh, I do like the beginning premise of Fallout 76. You would have people who were going to places and trying to help people that were that would say no to going into the shelters, the Fallout bunkers, that would try to help people and would be the responders. You'd have a lot of people doing that. And then you'd have, of course, the idea that there have been raiders since like the bombs dropped makes total sense as well. Like of course the raiders are some of the first things that happened. People taking advantage, people that use it as an excuse for some of their base tendencies. Like all of that shit makes sense. All right, so we're putting this our like space tubing on here. That went on a lot easier this time than the other one. And we'll just build it up. Tabs and go. Then we need L2 17 and R2 17. Great. L2. Hell yeah. One of the things that seemed very off about 76 is supposedly before all the other games, when the world has hard time to recover, has less time to recover, but it's far more green and colorful Fallout gamer. Well, one of I think one of the reasons why it's colorful is because it is like West Virginia. The thing that you need to understand is that the biggest cities in West Virginia are still very small, and Virginia, being West Virginia, that's proximity to Virginia, obviously proximity to D.C., but it is showing a part of the country where like it just has fallout. It doesn't have bombs dropping on it. Some parts of it certainly were obviously affected, but yeah, I mean the radiation is that like if you go to the glowing sea, so much radiation happened there, so many bombs fell that the water is contaminated and it will never be clean. Uh, yeah, I think that it makes sense that area is green because it isn't a major city. It isn't, so it's like it does have a chance uh, to kind of like recover a bit even from the ones. And it makes sense that there be first responders. There are people that like haven't turned to ghouls that even just by being indoors manage to not hit too much radiation. And of course they'll be poisoned slowly. Um, but it makes sense that places in rural areas and mountaintops than protected areas would be the ones that survive more than New York. Uh, or someone who's just been doing Fallout for a decade just wanted to make something green. That's also possible that they wanted to kind of give unique looking landscapes. They wanted it to look a little different just because. That's totally possible. I don't know. I don't know the intentions. There hasn't been a post mortem about it yet. Um, so let's see. I'm gonna do this piece here, and then we'll take a little bit of a breather, and I'll do some ad copy, as it were. I'm gonna figure out that's the back piece. Great. Talk about ways y'all can support the channel if you're so inclined. All right. First and foremost, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribing, consider it. You can use your Twitch coin. If you have Twitch Prime, because you have Amazon Prime, you link to your Twitch, I'd recommend that. You could also use actual just money. I am an affiliate here, so it's a 50-50 split. The money you put in, I get about half of. Brown Lantern just cheered. That is another way to support the channel, is through cheers and bits. And cheers and bits help me get even closer to hitting the threshold where I get payment from Twitch. The money I get goes into me buying model kits and other things to build on the channel and equipment for it. Right now I'm using the money I just got to tide me over for living because my main job did not pay me today as they were supposed to. But I know how much was going in there, and that money goes into me buying other things. Another way to support me is through Patreon. I have a Patreon. $5 supporters on there get videos early, usually a day early. So like tonight, the higher quality local recording of it that isn't being streamed, that version will go on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch that early. And then any other video I make goes up early there as well, except for announcements for League of Heels. I don't do that early because they're timely and generally, like I said, announcements, and I want to hit everybody at once with that. I have an Amazon wish list. You could you could find something on there. This kit was bought on my Amazon wish list. Ian purchased this kit. I'm building it thanks to Ian and Ian's generosity, which is rad. So nice. And someone bought that Grimgard, and I don't know who bought that, but thank you, whoever you are out there. Thank you from the Grimgard. Very much appreciate it. If you see something on there, if there's something that's not on there, that you're like, hey, if this was on your Amazon wish list, I'd buy it. Let me know. I would love to build stuff. I got Lego kits. I got Dragon Ball stuff. I've got Gundams. I've got a couple Zoids in there. I'm going to sneeze, so pardon me. Hold on. It took a second there. Sorry about that. But yeah, if there's something on the wish list, and then I also have a coffee, just like a tip jar. If like a one-time thing. If you're like, I can't subscribe, I can't do the Patreon, I don't have the money on Amazon, I don't have gift cards. Coming up to holiday time, if you see gift cards, maybe consider sending them my way. But there's a tip jar, like one-time thing. And then if you're watching and you don't follow me, give me a follow. Turn your notifications on so you know when I go live. I generally stream Thursdays and Saturdays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm not streaming next Thursday because it's American Thanksgiving, but I will be doing that Friday, same time. And then the following week will be very different because of traveling for League of Heels. I have a video coming out tomorrow for the League of Heels channel where I announce the fourth game designer and fourth wrestler who will be competing. We got 4 and 4 for the show. Calix, who's a fairly new member of the Chikara. Ophidian, who performed with us before. You may know Ophidian if you're not familiar with wrestling. You might know Ophidian from his appearance at Paxomania in Boston, and also the most illegal move in wrestling. Ophidian is one half of the hypnotizing move that is considered the most illegal move in all of wrestling. He's awesome. And then we have Unicorn Party. Unicorn Party brings the party. It's a unicorn and a party all in one from Kaiju Big Battle. And we're excited to have Unicorn Party hang out with us. And then on the other side, game developers, we've got Tom Dyke, who brought snacks to PAX Australia. Tom is events manager at Cards Against Humanity and a great person. Chris Straub, Mr. Kayfabe himself, who also will be in Bandlands, and Tommy Morangis, who is one of the 3 people that made Secret Hitler, and he also is working on a new game that I kickstarted myself. That's basically the Mein Kampf Android test, and it's rad. I also put a link to the Build with Baer community in there. Tomorrow I'm going to announce 2 other people, and I'll tell you this, hey Twitter, Twitter doesn't get this, YouTube doesn't get this until tomorrow, y'all get this right now. I'm going to announce who my co-host is, because I will be at the announce desk for the first time. I've never been an announcer for the show. I've always been the ringside announcer. I've never, I know, yes. Did I say Mein Kampf? I did not mean Mein Kampf. I meant Freund Kampf. I apologize. I did not mean that. I meant the other Kampf. Yeah, I did not. It did not mean that. Yes, it's the test from the Blade Runner test. It's all about figuring out one person is a detective, one person may or may not be a robot. It's asking questions via cards, figuring that out. It's a very cool game called Inhuman Conditions. It's rad. Tommy made that. Yes. Snapcaster Mage, you were right to be confused. Yeah, no, you're right to be confused. I totally fucked up what I was saying there. It's a test. It's the are you an android or you a robot artificial intelligence test. The game. It's very cool. Inhuman Conditions. Look it up. They have on their site the print and play version. It's a cool game. That's not what I was trying to say, though. What I was trying to say is, so to go back to what I was saying, hey, robot Nazis, no thanks. Don't bring those here. The other thing I was trying to say was, I'm going to announce my co-host, and I can't wait to have them do the show. I think it's going to add a lot of fun to the League of Heels show, which is Sunday, December 2nd. And I'm really looking forward to PAX Unplugged. I really enjoyed it last year. I think it's going to be bigger and better than ever. I'm excited to play a card game for League of Heels. The concept of which we did a little bit of when we did at PAX East. We theoretically played Uno, but not really. So I'm excited to actually play a card game at PAX Unplugged. I think that's going to be very cool. All right, so I'm going to attach this piece here. But, we're still doing the same stuff we did in the last one, just putting the pieces where they need to go. Trying to load that up there. Yeah. But yeah, that's my next thing. Working towards, obviously, like I said, check the website. I will tweet out information when I am streaming, of course. Speaking of streams, I told my patrons, and I'll announce it tomorrow during the day. I'm going to stream tomorrow night. I'm going to do an evening stream that's non-building. I'm going to do another game stream, another Hearthstone game stream tomorrow because I've been playing Hearthstone a lot and it's fun to play it with chat around. No pressure. It's going to be at 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. I don't know how long I'll play, but I kind of want to do a late night stream because I did an afternoon one before. I don't think I'm going to regularly do Friday streams, but especially because I don't know, like, getting my hours up is probably beneficial to me. So, um, if I'm able to, I want to kind of stream a little bit more. So that's happening tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm just going to play Hearthstone. I've got my Tess deck, my Tespionage deck, which I really enjoy. And then I did build another deck. I won't say what it is, but I did find another deck that looked like it would be cool. Um, and then like not broken but weird. And so I was like, "Oh, that sounds good. I like decks that are weird." So we'll see. Uh, it is a hunter deck, and I had all the cards for it, so I decided I was going to play that. Not to be this on brand, but have you played any of the MTG Arena beta or have any interest? Uh, just do a Dan Reichert and stream you doing nothing at all. Johnny, I mean, we did do the check-in at Emerald, or sorry, San Diego Comic Con. I did that check-in, and I might do that on Thursday when I go to to Philly because I do want to test because I'd like to stream from Philly and do a Lego kit. I'm going to bring a Lego kit with me. I'd like to do it from Philadelphia. That's the goal. So I will do a test stream probably that Thursday and just hang out and not make it that long. Um, it is weird. Snapcaster, as you said, Brand, you've interested in playing in the MTG Arena. So I played Magic the Gathering back in the day, my high school years. I did play a lot of Magic. I got out of it because the thing is, I can't play a physical card game anymore. Or at the time, I learned I couldn't because I just want to buy cards and I just want to buy a lot of cards, which I enjoy about that. Uh, um, I enjoy it so much. It's such a fun thing for me to do. Um, but I want to buy all the cards, and I can't stop myself from buying all the cards. So I don't know. So I do like Magic, and I haven't played any of it. I am interested in checking it out because, just like I said, I do have a love for it. So maybe. I guess the answer is maybe. Um, it is a possibility that I will give that a shot. Uh, Yeah, I really love Hearthstone. Asmo, first of all, hi Asmo, welcome back. I'll be here for some Hearthstone, unless like tonight I forget and start playing Hitman 2 as soon as I'm done working. Totally understand, Asmo. It happens. I've been there. Yeah, I mean, Johnny, you think you recommend checking it out? Yeah, I mean, I do like Magic. I think it's a fun. It'd be fun to go give it another shot because I do enjoy it. I just haven't played it in a while. It's been quite some time. I would feel very rusty about it, but I wouldn't mind giving it a shot. All right, so we got to put some more armor on this. That was R2. Oops, that's a piece. I've been doing that. I've been occasionally pulling the wrong piece off, so I got to be more careful about that. All right, we made it to after 10 o'clock. I don't always try to keep my anime talk to the second half of the show. I try to be organic, but if organically we haven't gotten to it, it's now time to talk about anime. First and foremost, I got a little teary-eyed at Skullface Bookseller Honda-san. That's it's like an 11-minute thing. It's usually 2 stories. Sometimes it's 3 stories if they're being, if they're really short. One was about a person who transferred and is really gung-ho. and how like they're all like kind of into that. And then it's about displays and areas, and there's two moments in the show these particular episodes that are just uh, really sweet. Um, there's like a author that you don't meet passes away, and so a bunch of people come in to pick up the books because now it's in people are talking about it. They're like, oh, okay, I should pick that up because people are talking about this author. So there's always a rush when a manga author or artist passes away. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's like kind of fun. And then this like older guy comes up and asks for a book, uh, and says like, oh, he was about my age, and it kind of takes me back, and talks about like growing up loving it. And I don't know. I got yes, it's Skullface Bookseller Honda-san. I don't know. I got kind of emotional about it. We all hope that we can leave our mark on the world, and like especially mediums like that art, especially written word and illustrations and stuff like that, do live for a very long time, can outlive us all. Um, and meanwhile, this is a character that is a skull man doing this, but got real touched about it. And it was really sweet. And then there's just a little piece of the episode about how most of his section, when he does like fairs, which are like things to kind of celebrate books and get people to come check out your book, um, how he gets all homemade, and the new employee thinks that it's great. Really appreciates the amount of love that Honda puts in. I don't know. It's a really silly show. It's about retail. It's obviously about book selling and manga and international fans. I mean, there's a lot about international fans and people that love different kinds of books and weird, obscure stuff. But it really is about like people that work really hard and care about what they do, and I'm super into that show. I highly recommend it. Um, uh, it's a lot, Johnny. I mean, it's visually a lot, and like you also, it's one of those things because it's about obscure stuff. You might feel the need to do the research because you're like, I don't get this. Some of it doesn't necessarily need to make sense. Like you're like, is there a reason why this character is like this and why this character is like that? And sometimes the answer is yes, and other times it's just like, oh, they just made a strong choice. But it's really cool. Uh, Johnny, I'm glad you watched Laid Back Camp. That's my favorite anime of the year by far. It's an incredible show. It is such a relaxing show. It is a mental health show. It is a wonderful, beautiful slice of life show that I can't recommend enough. Yeah, it's sometimes like the only thing I have to look up is book sections because I don't know a lot of subgenres of manga. Because some subgenres don't translate to anime or they haven't made the jump, so I don't know them. So sometimes there's like names that I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what you're referencing right now. And so sometimes in that instance, I have to do some research. But for the most part, you can follow along. I really do enjoy it. It's frenetic and fast paced, but really beautiful. Uh, I don't know. It also makes me glad that I only do retail 3 times a year. Because it's a lot. Oh, Arabina, I forgot to jump back to there. Uh, Honda-san is pretty much the highlight of my week at this point. It packs so much goodness in this small space. Yeah, and it's short. Comes out every Sunday. I watch it on Mondays usually because Sunday I don't have a lot of time to watch anime. So I usually pick it up on Monday. The other show that comes out on Monday, and this was a little tough of an episode, uh, was that time I got reincarnated as a slime, which I really enjoy. Um, it hasn't had a lot of like some of the failings of the person from our world coming to the other world and being incredible and overpowered. Like the biggest trope is the every lady is wants a part, which it doesn't really deal with too much. There's some not great stuff. There's some elves that are like in a host club, and that's not great. That part's not great. Don't get me wrong. Um, but for the most part, especially considering other um, shows in the genre, it handles it very well. Uh, I think. So I have been enjoying that show, and I knew that this one was going to be kind of rough because I read ahead a bit. Um, but yeah, the character that we saw in the very part of episode one, the very beginning of episode one, we finally learn a little bit more about Shizu, and there's some really interesting action. Um, so overall, it was tough, and I knew that it would be a little bit of a rough part of the show, but I did enjoy it that episode. I don't want to say a lot because if people are behind or want to catch up on that show, there's some plot stuff that happens. So yeah, it was good. Uh, the business suit ogre lady is not there yet. Robot Crank. We haven't met any of the. I believe they're orcs. I believe that they're orcs and then they become demon or oni. But I think that originally they're that's a business orc or a business oni. Um, we have not met any of those characters, and I want to meet them very badly because they all seem fun. Uh, um, Disco says I usually stay about a season behind. Looking forward to watching Honda-san. Hoping Gridman and Bloom into You finish strong because it sounds like they're both really things I like. So I am still behind on Gridman, but I like what I've seen so far. I'm waiting for it to get fucked up. I'm waiting for the drop. Basically, I know it's coming. It can't not be coming. They're gonna fucking pull some shit. I know they will. But right now, I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I'm behind, so it might have already happened. But, yeah, I'm into it. I'm into that show. Uh, and then, let's see. Is there any other shows that I want to talk about? Oh, I am done with As Miss Beelzebub Likes. The boys love character I did not enjoy, and then another thing happened in the next episode. I don't think it uses its theme well. I think it could be so much better than it is. I think it's overall a real disappointment of a show, and I'm bummed about it because I think it could be way cooler than it is. So I'm not going to finish it. I might go back to it in the lean times if the next season isn't good and there's not a lot that I want to watch. I might go back to it. It's still in my queue, but yeah, I'm not super into that show. I think that um, Miss Vampire Who Lives in My Neighborhood is a much better slice of life show uh, in the genre. I just think it plays with it so much better. The world of vampires and other stuff. Let's see if there's any other shows I want to talk about. Oh, Black Clover. We had some silly stuff. We had some flashback stuff. I thought it was really interesting over the last couple of episodes how they introduced a character. They introduced a new character who was an old character from their past and kind of showed you a thing that happened that they hadn't talked about in the show. And I thought they did it cleverly. We are in the Forest of Witches, and it's some dark stuff. And it's one of those things where, like, I appreciate it because it's exploring a character that I don't really care about. And it's making me care more, and I think that's the mark of a good show and a good story. I know that it is in many ways very by the book. And I know a lot of people can't handle Black Clover because They just can't handle all the yelling because the dude just yells. He just yells. All he does is yell, 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 no matter what. He's a yeller. So I understand how some people are like, nope, can't do it. I get that. I still like it a lot, and I'm going to keep up with it. And I don't have anything shonen to watch, really, because Gridman's shonen, I guess. But it's kind of fun to have another one of those. I think that's it as far as anime. Um, I found a better subtitled version of the fan subs of YYH, Yu Yu Hakusho, so I was excited about that. Because those are fun. And it's really nice, as I said last week. Uh, did you get a Liz and the Bluebird screen in your area? Um, there is a screening, I believe. I haven't, I didn't go out to see it, but I believe in my area, because I'm in New York, so I assume that um, there is a screening of it, but I did not do the research. I have heard good things as well. Bloom Into You is really good, is real good, but I cannot help but compare it to Keze-san, which features a much less stressful relationship. Mostly comparing comics here. Yeah, I haven't seen Bloom Into You. I'm gonna look that up. Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard it. I've heard it. It's good, but stressful. Yeah, I think the Yuri show that I'm watching right now is Ms. Vampire Who Lives in My Neighborhood, because there are a lot of characters who are fucking clearly in love with each other on that show. It's still subtext, but it's basically text, which I know for a lot of people is not fucking enough, and they deserve more. And I agree, they deserve more and they deserve better than subtext. They deserve fucking text, and text fucking. Um, but I mean, like, y'all, these ladies are definitely in love with each other. Uh, it's on Verve with all the high dive stuff now. Oh, cool. Okay. Seems like one of the leads presents Ace at least a little bit, which is really neat. And Bloom Into. Oh, cool. I like that. A lot of times characters are just decided by the fans as Ace because they don't have a romantic interest in anyone. Um, Not because they are Ace. So if that can be explored in show, that would be great. I mean, sometimes you don't get that. Sometimes you just get text or subtext, and you have to do the work to figure it out yourself. Um, but yeah, that seems cool. 21. A21 is this one here. Okay. Um, yeah, and I kind of let Fairy Tale go by. I will watch it, but I think that's going to be a show like My Hero, where I watch a bunch of them in a row, especially the longer multi-episode fight scenes. I think I'm much more interested in watching that as it ramps up and not watching it week to week. I think that's now that I'm watching Black Clover week to week, I'm starting to feel like, I guess I like these shows. I like to binge watch a lot of these shows, that genre. Because there are also shows that I probably I'm not going to watch like, you know, a day later. Um, Okay. But yeah, I think that's it for anime stuff that I've been watching. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I've. There's still plenty of stuff I'm gonna check out, but I haven't been hearing like, there's not. This season is. I think this season's very good, but I feel like the people I know who talk about anime are kind of silent on a lot of it. Um, I guess people like the biking one or the running. No, the running one. I think people like the running show, but it didn't. Doesn't really appeal to me. I found that even the best, most incredible sports anime, I'm not super into. Like it's just not my scene. Nothing wrong if that's your thing. If you like basketball anime and baseball anime uh and that, that's awesome. But I've been kind of watching Baki a bit. Baki's always weird because it's like, I mean, Baki's just, it's so violent and violent, and people are dead but not dead, and dude got his hand chopped off, but then it got put back on, and you're like, what the fuck? What is all of this show? What is this? Baki's so goddamn weird. I don't know. Uh, all right, we're working on our shoulder piece here, so we got some more white to put on it. The only really white in this kit. This is cool, looks cool though. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna try to watch. I think I said this to Mr. Bob on Twitter, I believe. I am gonna try to watch some of Gundam Thunderbolt because I would like to be more familiar with the shows from kits that I am building. Obviously, it's a Zaku. This is it's Zaku. Zaku 2. It's a unique one, and it's some fucked up shit involved with it, but it's a Zaku. So I there's things to know about it, and then there are things that are just like, yeah, it's this thing. But I like I said, I would like to investigate it a bit more, learn a bit more about it. Um, uh, Pink eyeball, check. I want more Thunderbolt kits. I mean, my guess is that you'll get them if they show up in builders, right? That seems to be the way to get obscure kits out there and have people know about kits that you might not know anything about, is if they end up um, in builders, uh, which I'm not opposed to. All right, so now we're putting some gold here on our shoulder pad, so we got to do that. Uh, there are many aquatic suits. They're great high grades. That's cool. That Atlas Gundam is real weird, says Lashbrook. All right, I'll take your word for it. All right, so we're gonna put some of these on here, and then we'll do the other ones on the other side. And then I think it's just uh like the new Thunderbolt Gundam HD has no polycaps. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Uh, I still want to watch Builders. There's so many shows. Johnny, there's too many shows. There are just too many shows out there to watch them all. That's the thing. People are like, "Oh, are you watching this?" And it's like, like uh, Anima or Anima Yell. People were like, "Oh, it's fun. The main character's so positive," and it's like she's starting a cheerleading squad, and like the first episode didn't grab me, so I'm like, there's too much. There's too much to just if I'm like, like you fall off with stuff. Like I was that way. I mean, I will say I was obviously that way about Black Clover, and then I watched some clips of it from later episodes, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back and watch this. This is turning into a thing that I think is cool, where I was not as into it when it first came out. Um, the original Build Fighters is probably the best, and I definitely like Divers better than Try. Okay, Uh, you fell off of the third season. Okay. Ron Perot being a middle-aged gunplay expert is best. Okay. That's awesome, Rubina. That sounds great. Yeah, I should watch Builders. If only just because, like, yeah, you end up with, like, kits, and kits get a second life, and it's about building. And also, I really did like Mega Man EXE, which this feels a little bit like that. Um, I really, that was Rockman EXE that was later called Mega Man EXE, which was uh, the like, what if Mega Man what if everything was like computer stuff inside computers, and uh, Mega Man was a young kid's best friend. That's the show, and it's cute. It was a cute story. It also made Gutsman on the Good Guys squad, which was great because I think Gutsman is a cool robot. So I like that Gutsman was your friend. He was like your rival turned friend, like your early rival that is never going to be as good as any other character in the show. But like early on, you're like, yeah, we got to beat Gutsman. Build Divers is extremely Rockman EXE. Okay, where they go. The first season tries to teach you stuff. Well, that's fun. This sounds like a thing I should finally fucking watch, but who knows? I would like to. Got going on here. Oh, we got some time. We're gonna keep going. Speaking of Mega Man, did anyone else watch? Yes, Brian David Gilbert's new Polygon video ranking all the robots. Yes. So all of them so far have been incredible. All his videos. Basically, uh, hello, Sin. It's going good. This has been a fun stream. We're working on. We did a second arm here. We finished one arm. We're done with the second. We're doing the shoulder for this. We're gonna Zaku 2 from Gundam Thunderbolt. Um, yeah. So BDG Brian Gilbert from Polygon has a video series that's nonsense and wonderful, and I love where it just at certain points just completely breaks uh, Patrick Gill, who's there to do the audio for it. Um, it's really fun, and I recommend it as a weird. It's a very weird show, but I like it a lot. But this last one is just like deciding if it is a good show or a bad one. A good robot or a bad robot, like a useful that has sense. Not if it's a good or bad robot, if that giving it sentience was a good idea or a bad idea is such a fun premise. Um, all right, so we're building spikes here. I'm gonna lay out the pieces because they're all the same. So we'll just lay out all three here. Uh, yeah, I think that I also really enjoyed the latest video that Patrick did. Patrick Gill did a video um, about Simone and then later himself trying to do a thing for the video guide for, and I won't say what the thing is. I mean, you'll know, but trying to do a thing for a video guide for uh, Red Dead 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, I should say, um, and how that went or didn't go. And it's in a certain style. It's aping a style that's really fun. I thought that video was really clever and cool. But yeah, no, I mean those two are trying to keep the torch going of weird video on Polygon, and I do appreciate that. Um, their video team is the reason I go to Polygon stuff these days. Not saying the rest of the site is not trying, but the video team is doing some. Yeah, I mean, they're doing something different than other sites, right? They're trying to make their video different. I do miss the live element stuff to it. I certainly liked. I wish they had made more videos about the new Jackbox. I'm actually surprised they haven't made more Jackbox Party Pack videos. Even without the McElroy boys, they still have a lot of very fun and funny people on the site, on the staff. I'll be interested to see if they rope Patricia. Oof. Why do I forget Patricia's last name? I don't want to say it wrong. I'm looking it up right now. But she left Kotaku. Uh, Patricia Hernandez, and it's probably in the chat you're writing Hernandez. Yes, Patricia Hernandez. Yes, Patricia Hernandez moved to Polygon. I'm interested to see if Patricia's like a really interesting person, and unique, cool person. I'm interested to see if she ends up in any of the videos. You know, I'm gonna cough. Also, I recommend the Polygon Show. The video team is great. The Polygon Show is a great podcast. I mean, you have enough video game podcasts. You listen to enough video game podcasts. I know you do. You've got enough. You don't need another one. It's a good one. Comes out on Fridays. It's a good podcast. I think all of they're just such different but like very complimentary voices, uh, and I think that's a great podcast. I'm happy to listen to it. Also, you know, there is something to be said uh, about a podcast on a major video game site. A thing that's called that's legitimately called the Polygon Show is for women identifiers, female identifying folks. That's awesome. Uh, I don't do podcasts anymore since I don't commute, which makes me sad sometimes. I hear you, Mr. Bob. Every once in a while, if I want to listen to just like an episode of a podcast, but I don't listen to the podcast anymore, I'll put it on while I play Hearthstone or I listen to a lot of podcasts while playing House Flipper, which I put on episode, my Monday episode of Let Pat Play, my series where I play games. I looked at House Flipper again because there was new content, which I didn't even really look at the new content. I just played. There was a new house to set for money, and I just went and played that again. There had been some changes, and I went and looked at that. But yeah, I listen to podcasts sometimes when I'm playing Hearthstone or like one-offs. Like I don't normally listen to anymore because there's so many podcasts. Comedy Bang Bang, but Jason Mantzoukas and Paul F. Tompkins were on it together, and they were the only guests. And Paul F. Tompkins was playing a character the whole show, and Mantzoukas was just playing a version of Mantzoukas. And I was like, I want to watch that. Or listen to that, I should say. So I ended up just putting it on a player and listening to it while I did other things, which is a great way to listen to that particular episode. All right. So now we're going to do the same kind of like connector for the shoulder pad to the arm that we did on the last one. It's basically exactly the same thing. I don't have a commute, but I work alone a lot, so podcasts help. Yes, podcasts are really great for that, especially if you're in a house or a location to yourself. Just to have something. I used to have TV on in the background a lot, or I'll put, I'll find a person I don't necessarily follow that has a lot of videos about Hearthstone and just have them play in the background, just for kind of white noise. Uh, uh, my podcast game this year has been MLB The Show 18. I listened to a lot of podcasts and played a lot of the show. That sounds like a very good podcast for that. Yeah, or I mean, it's a very good thing for that. Yeah. Crunch Hardtack is now following. Thank you very much, Crunch Hardtack. Great name. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it very much. Uh, Patricia helped us launch a website once before she broke into paid games writing, so she's probably the second most famous person I've spoken to before they found their audience. That's awesome. Very cool. Uh, yeah, we met a couple times. Patricia went up to a PAX East or PAX West. It was PAX West. Went with PAX West when she was dating someone else in the industry. Um, they went together one year, and yeah, we were friendly. I don't know even know if she would remember my name, but probably remember my face. That kind of friendly, because I don't expect people to always remember me. I'm pretty rememberable, but memorable. I said rememberable. It's late. I'm tired. You shut up. No. All right. So let's get this attached. We're getting towards the end of the show. We got some time. We're gonna put things together. We'll start on the legs, but whoa, Snappercaster Mage says Snapcaster Mage, not Snapper. Uh, One of my great podcast regrets is that I never got into Comedy Bang Bang. I even was listening to Douglas Movies back in the day, which was recorded right after Scott would record. Yes. Um, just never gave it a shake at the time and found out much later how awesome it was. Yeah. Um, knowing Soldier Boy before Soldier Boy is known is a very strange thing, Johnny. That is a strange name, a strange person to know before they were famous. Weird. That's very weird. Oops. Okay, so I might have put this in wrong. I'm gonna have to look at this here. Might have done this wrong. Uh yeah, Snap, there is a lot of like inside jokes and lore, so it is somewhat impenetrable, but I think that like the hardest thing is people who are doing reoccurring characters. Like if it sometimes you're like, is this a character that Indio has done a bunch? Or is this just a brand new character Indio is trying? So in that way it is a little tough, but it is very funny. I think the show which ran on IFC and quite a few episodes, the show might be easier to negotiate and kind of figure out because like if there are inside jokes, they have to be very like good about it because they know that there are a lot of people who are have never seen any of it. So it might be a little easier to get that. Uh, Soldier Boy used to post his music on a forum I hung out on. Oh, okay, that makes some sense, Johnny. Okay. You've solved our mystery as to what the fuck. But yeah, so I started listening to the podcast was a radio show that they recorded and put out as a podcast. It was like internet radio. It was a radio station that just went pure internet um, back in the day because it was a live show that he did at the Upright Citizens Brigade. He did it at M-Bar and then the Upright Citizens Brigade in L.A. And then eventually stopped doing the live show. And then eventually the podcast wasn't the live show, but the podcast had the same name. It was Comedy Death Ray, but he co-created it and he wanted something so he changed it to Bang Bang. It's this whole long thing. But yeah, all right. I think we got our shoulder piece done here. Looking pretty cool. Okay, I think I figured out why I kept doing this wrong. This shoulder piece was giving me some trouble, but I think I've got it. Okay. Oh, no. All right. Disco Punk 'em out. Early to bed, early to rise. Yeah, Disco, I'll be here Saturday streaming again at the same time, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'm playing Hearthstone. I don't know how long I'm going to do that. Uh, but yeah, it's good to have you there. Uh, I've now seen the video of Ted Danson learning how to floss and don't know what to do with my life at this point. Yeah, it's pretty weird. That is a weird video. I watched that today. All right, I got our shoulder piece on. I had it going the wrong way. Let's connect these two pieces here. Uh, yeah, it was really great when politicians stopped dabbing. There's a, I mean, they will again. Uh, but when everyone was dabbing because their kids were dabbing, that was a fucking lot. It's a goddamn lot. All right. So we finished our all like look at this. We got half of our Zaku body done. Got our shoulder piece on there. Um, our two shoulder pieces. And we are gonna start by doing a little bit of the feet. We're not gonna do too much because it is so close to me being done. Uh, Phil Murphy's son dabbed on stage. Yeah. Uh, I mean, I believe that she hasn't done it in a public forum. I'm sure she's flossed. She's young, younger than me. Uh, I can't wait for boomers to stop calling everyone younger than a millennials, as if we're not fucking 40 by now. I know. Here's the thing. They just don't have a name yet. Millennials are younger than them, so everyone's a millennial. They just like Will Smith and I are like Will Smith, the tech guy, not the actor, are millennials. I guess I shouldn't be a millennial. I'm 38 years old, but I am a millennial. I'm an old millennial because Gen Y didn't take off, but I'm not Gen X. So I'm because I was born in 1980. So I'm either a very young Gen Xer or a very old millennial. But kids born today are not millennials. There's no fucking way teens are millennials. We just don't have a new name for them. Yes, the Zennials are the gap generation. I am a gap. Yes, I am Generation Y, Generation Z. Uh, yes. Uh, Oregon Trail generation. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, and we don't need to worry about it. It is what it is. But yes, eventually they will stop calling young people millennials when they coin a new term for it. But right now, when people talk about how millennials are ruining things, sometimes they are talking about my generation ruining things by being adults with terrible credit who can't buy things, and so certain businesses are going out of business because we're ruining them. And sometimes they're not wrong about that. H22. So we're working on our feet here. It looks like so a lot of this is going to be like do this and do it again because the feet are identical, which is cool. But we'll get started on that. We're gonna take off a little bit. Applebee's deserve to sigh. Uh, 37, a generation most fucked up over the boomers until the next one comes along. Certainly, you're not wrong. Um, Look, restaurants that are there is a place for restaurants like that. It's just that like if you're not adapting to the times, then you're going to be in trouble. And if people of a certain generation cook more and don't go out, or they only go out so much and they when they go out they go fancy because they don't want to take all the kids to a restaurant because they fucking can't afford to do that. Um, for a generation that worships the noble hand, the market, the quick to point fingers when other market abandons prayer. Oh yeah, I mean that's the market is great until you fuck it up. The market's not bad. You're bad. Uh, Hooters is just bad and titty is available everywhere. Yeah. Look, there are plenty of cities and towns in this country where um, if you're gonna be work in a restaurant, there were women out there who would who wanted to work at Hooters because that's like that was a good restaurant and to make money at. And it was like, well, I'm gonna get bothered by shitty dudes wherever I work. Might as well be at the place where it's here. Um, there's only one Hooters in New York City. Uh, and I've been there because college basketball. One year, a bunch of my friends and we hung out at a Hooters all fucking day and watched lots of college basketball. The waitress got off shift. The lunch waitress left, and we had a new waitress. So we had to close out our tab and open up a new tab. That was a long damn day of watching basketball, a thing I don't really care about. I mostly just want to hang out with my friends and eat fried pickles. And I got to do that. Uh, email from a professor, Brown says, as long as classes haven't been canceled and as long as I can get to campus, the exam will go on as scheduled. Yeah, I mean, if they're having classes, sorry if you're going to have to commute to find out you don't have an exam. Asmo says I travel for business occasionally, and I will say that chain restaurants are a godsend when you desperately need food at a certain minimal acceptance quality. Oh God, don't get me wrong. We talk a lot of yang about Buffalo Wild Wings, and for good reasons. But 2 years ago, one of the things, I go to Seattle for PAX, right? And Seattle closes lots of things downtown, specifically the downtown area, closes very early. And one of the things that closes very early, especially on a holiday weekend or a holiday like Labor Day when I'm there. But that Buffalo Wild Wings stayed open later than anyone else that Sunday, and I ended up getting my dinner there. I went and did pickup and went and got it, and then went back to where I was staying. Because otherwise I would not have had dinner. I've had years where I was just in an area where nothing was open, and I managed to find a 7-Eleven and microwave my dinner because nothing there was nothing available except very fancy restaurants. So last year this past year I didn't end up because I was staying in a residential neighborhood, but I had access to a fridge, so I stocked up on food. And then also I was buying dinner from there's a Shake Shack underneath the bridge near the convention center, and I managed to a friend graciously went and got food for me a couple times. But yeah, those Applebee's, those chain restaurants, an Applebee's, a Chili's, those places are a lifesaver, in certain towns, because they're the ones that are going to be open. They're going to keep those hours. They're going to be there for you when you need to get a food and you don't know the area. Also, depending on the food you're getting, you have an idea of what it's going to be. There might be slight variations on exactly what it is, but you have a general idea of what you're getting. Whereas sometimes if you're really hungry, if you're been traveling a lot and you need a meal, you got to get something to eat. Sometimes you can really get burned by a place, But this last year I ate the Cheesecake Factory that's across the street from the convention center because it was Thursday night. I was starving because of the way my flights worked. I had worked very hard to set up our booth, and I just needed to eat quickly and get a bunch of food in me. And so I went across the street and got a table, and it was just what I needed. It was like a salad with a lot of stuff to make it not healthy on it, and some bread. And I was very happy with that. It wasn't, the best meal I've ever eaten, but it was certainly tasted good when I needed it, which was right then. Uh, no, no one needed to bring me into a cult. Uh, for Cheesecake Factory. In fact, I didn't go to that many because there weren't that many in my area of Connecticut. It wasn't until later that I would go. But actually, my first things was in New York. There's still a couple left. Cheese steak factories were a spin-off of the Cheesecake Factory that focused on cheesesteaks and other things like that. And you could get cheesecakes and all that, but it really focused on more fast food stuff. And there was one near my work when I first moved to New York, and I was broke. And a cheesesteak factory was very helpful. Um, it was really nice. Uh, Living in a college town can be helpful a lot, especially if you grow up in a college town. Bear Steak. This is a really fun kit. This is the Zaku 2 from Thunderbolt. It's a very cool Zaku 2 custom that has like a lot of neat stuff going on with it. It's got big weapons and a big backpack, and it's nonsense. And we're gonna be building it for a while. It's gonna take a while to get there, because we're almost done today. I was just finishing up a little bit of the feet, but we'll go on in more detail as we go. I'm gonna put the bottom part here, our booster rocket for our feet, and that'll be the last step we do today. This is a master grade. It's a giant box. I think it's the second biggest box I've ever had for a kit. It's certainly the biggest master grade box I've had. The biggest box I've ever had is the perfect grade from the Wing Zero perfect grade. That's a incredibly large box. You need it for all the metal feathers. But it's a big box. When it showed up, I was very surprised about how large it is. But yeah, this is going to be quite the kit and quite the build. Um, uh, let's see. I went in it twice, but I was surprised at both. Yeah, Cheesecake Factories. This kit is actually enormous. It's got a rocket booster on the backpack, basically the size of a 20 ounce can and soda bottle. Yeah, it's a large kit. Like the actual robot's a good, standard 1/100 scale master kit or master grade kit, but the backpack and the weapons are very large, and I like a good dumb weapon, so I'm looking forward to building it. But we're actually going to wrap up today. Thanks for folks that just joined. I will be back to building on Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Eastern. If you ever want to watch the archives of old stuff, if you can't watch live, I do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBaer. This video will go up on Friday. It's always the day after I put it up on YouTube, and the day of I just put it on. It's available for my Patreon, I should say, with about an hour and a half because it takes a little while to upload a 2-hour video and then also process it for my location. Your location may vary. But I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to just do a night stream where I play some Hearthstone. I just want to play some Hearthstone, and I figured I would do that on stream. Tomorrow, I am rank 18 currently, and I would like to try to get to rank 17, so maybe we could do that. I've got 2 kits that are fun. One is my Tespionage, which I played last week. Still playing that deck. And then I found a version of Quest Hunter that I think is really good. There's a couple cards. Quest Hunter has always been a fun deck, but there's one card in particular that makes some things, that does some pretty interesting things. And then anytime I get to build zombies with the Death Knight, Rexar, I'll do that because that's just a great card. It's just a really fun card. But yeah, I've got that Hunter deck that I'm playing that I think is pretty cool. With 2 cards, I should say, 2 cards that are new, that are interesting. So that's tomorrow night, Friday night, 10 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/PatBaer. Hello, everybody that's just joining. We are wrapping up. I'm just doing the outro now. I apologize that everyone's jumping in for the end of my video, but you can watch the VOD. You can go to youtube.com/PatBaer to watch some of the old videos. This will be up tomorrow. And thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great night. It's nice to see everybody. And tomorrow I will be live streaming again, like I said, 10 p.m. Eastern. Have a good night. Subscribe. Turn on your notifications so that you know when I go live. Or subscribe, give a follow, and I'll see you all next time. And I wish I wasn't tuning out when I had 28 viewers, but I got to wrap up. So I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.